Okay, we are going to do a rolling credit. Okay, rolling credits. Every one of your videos needs to have a title and a rolling credit. Even your music video. At the end, especially when you're using other people's music and their videos, give credit to them. It gets you less in trouble. So be sure to do that when you are creating your animation, your 2-minute video, and your team video. On this one, everyone, you can do a variety of things. I take my scrub bar to the end of the video. Do I want my rolling credits just to be on a black background? Certainly an option. Or do I want my rolling credits to roll while my video ends? This one's kind of a neat video to do that because see how the car comes off the track and then it goes inside this mist? Rolling credits look really neat as that car comes towards you. So it might be worth putting rolling credits right here. So everyone take your scrub bar and line it up there. Monsters Inc. does a really great job letting the movie continue to play over here on the left and then roll the credits down here on the right. So what they did inside the titler, instead of going in that safe area, they just have a teeny title bar that runs a rolling credit that runs just down the side while the movie still plays. So now, because you're videographers, look at how they start movies, look at how they end movies, because you want to create these rolling credit and these titles that are unforgettable. Okay? The Matrix does such a great job making them come and disappear. I love that, if you've seen that. So just pay attention. We all watch movies, or at least fast forward to the end and look how they roll it. So everyone have your rolling credit right there. Now where am I going to put this title? When I'm all done with it, where am I going to put this title? Do I put it on video 1 or do I put it on video 2? What do you think? Yeah, it's going to go on video 2, right? I don't want to put it right on top and then I'm going to lose it. Where it's going to sit is the title's going to sit right here. Sit right on top of Saleen car. How do I create that rolling credits? Where did I go to do that? Title. New. This time, make it roll. Notice the width and height, 720 by 480. You're going to start memorizing this because you're going to, if you wanted to make your own titles, you could, right? In Photoshop, just make sure your width and height is 720 by 480. Can't make a rolling credit in there. Well, actually you could if you made it really, really long. It'd be longer than 480 if you made it 1600. It's 3 times as long, 1500. Then if it had all the text in there and I put it on there, it'll roll. What makes it roll is the length of the box. One of you will come to me and say, Kim, my box is not rolling. And I will say, did you make it still? You'll say no, but you only have 4 titles in there. So you say in that safe area, it won't roll until that box is really, really long. And then that's what makes the motion happen because it's got to funnel through all that text. Please change the name to this rolling credits. Where will I see this rolling credits, everyone?
At the end.
I'll see it at the end, but where will I find it to put it on the track? Yeah, inside my import files, right? If I go over here to my project, there's my rolling credits. I don't have anything yet, but there's my rolling credits. Why did I move my scrub bar to the mist of the car? Well, I'm going to line up my colors, right? So I want to look at my colors in the titler. So make sure that in the design feature, you put your scrub bar where you want those credits to roll. If I was doing the Monster Inc. project, and I only wanted this much of it to be rolling credits, I could do that, right? That means the movie would play here, and my rolling credits would roll here. That's how they did it. It's that simple. Or you can put it on the other side, okay? Or if I have the wrong size, I can just click it, and I can make it to fill the whole safe area. Now, right now, this acts like a still title. Here's what makes it roll. I grab the very bottom, and I drag it, and I can still see my 2-headed arrow. See that? Now is my title going to roll? Absolutely. Look how long it is. I don't have anything in there, but it's pretty long, and I have a scroll bar that will make that happen. If you'll go ahead and choose the same title that you did before, so that they kind of have this uniform look, even though I can't remember which one I chose. and then hit center. And then for our purposes in this class, just to learn it, we're just going to make you the author, the director, the producer, written by, all of it, okay? So we're going to do written by your first and last name, 2 returns, directed by your first and last name, 2 returns, produced by your first and last name, 2 returns, music by, and you can arrange the text any way that you want. And you have these great Photoshop skills, Subway art skills. You could really make these headings and rolling credits really amazing. Some of you may already be empty. You can't go anymore. Your box isn't big enough. It's not the end of the world. Watch this. I go grab my select tool, select the box, and make it longer so that you can include all the contents of what you created, okay? Everything doesn't have to be the same. You can make things bigger, smaller, all of that as well. Remember, I don't have to save anything. I just close. All right, everyone, you're going to do this. Here's my rolling credits because I can see it. Select it so it has a gray box around it. Pick it up and slide it and line it up with your crossbar on video 2 track. Watch mine. Okay, should it keep going? Is it going too fast? Watch this. I can pull this, so I'm going to take my rolling credits and say, you know what, I want you to slow that down. As I increase the size of this box, I just slowed it down. Okay, I just lined it up with the end. So now when I play this, it might go a little bit too slow. But it's still better. It's rolling. And then the music fades, and then it ends, and it stops. It's a professional way of ending, so it's not so abrupt. Okay? Make yours do the same. Okay, I'm going to teach you one last thing. I'm going to teach you how to add that motion to that logo. And I'm also going to teach you how to do and make that heading. But before we do, I'm just going to make sure we save it and we render it, okay? So everyone do your file, save. That saves your whole project. If I want to come back and edit this at any time, I have all the tracks that I can work with, all my titles and everything. Can I just show you this? If I notice an error in my Saleen rolling credits, I don't have to go here to roll or to edit. I can double click here. It will, when I double click on the rolling credits here, it will allow me to edit in here as well. So you're not just limited to here or here. Whatever I edit will be corrected in both places, okay? So when you see that error, and remember you don't have to save, that seems to be a common thing. Also, when I'm completely done with my video, many of you will do this, your scrub bar will be at the end. And then you'll render your video. And then you open it and it's completely black. And it's 0. Why? Because I forgot to hit home, put my scrub bar to say, oh yeah, here's where my video starts. And I go to the end and I say, oh, my marker thinks my video ends here. But my video ends here. So pull the orange marker and have it line up. Some of you may even like just a little bit of black. You know, when your video ends and there's just this ending of black, kind of looks polished and finished. You can extend your marker beyond. What I don't want to see is 10 minutes of nothing. Big, huge file, and I realized you didn't even look to see where your movie ended. If your movie's cut off, it's because your marker's in the middle of your video. And so you didn't get the whole video. Or you ran out of storage space. Or you had a power surge and right through the rendering, it stopped, okay? What happens with me right now is my thumb drive is completely full. So when I go to render, I get 98% of it because my disk is so full. So that's another option as well. You mark the beginning, mark the end. Then you do another file save because you've marked it. So that's an addition that's being saved. When you go back, it will show you where you had it marked and why it didn't work. This is how you export. File, export, media. File, export, media. If you are on a Mac, when it says format here, you will see QuickTime. Don't be alarmed. That's equivalent to an MOV. If you're on a PC, it usually defaults to an AVI, not limited to an MOV or AVI. If I click this down arrow, when you have to load these to YouTube, it must be an MP4. So you'll see an MP4 and all the other ones that are listed down here, okay? For our class right now, we're going to do AVIs. That's what I show in class. Also, you can put in comments here that will help you know how it was rendered. These will show, and this is where you could say, this is my final render, haha, or whatever. You can put comments in there for you. This is the most important, where it says output. This is the name of the rendered file. Is that what you want? Yes or no? What I don't want to see is sequence 01. You won't know what that is. And where is it going to save? The only way you can see where it's going to save is either wait and get the tooltip or click. If you click, I like to click, and I notice that I'm absolutely where I should be. There's all my Saleen AVIs. My in-class Saleen first name, last name will be in the same location. That means that if I take my thumb drive home, I can review my AVI that I've exported. Okay? Then you just hit save because you've got the right location. Sometimes I've seen it redirect itself and go to the C drive under Documents. So I always just click the output name to make sure. You could also change the way that it exports, but I'm going to save that down the road. I teach you too many things and you're confused. All I care about is I look right here, the codec is North American, NTSC. It is not PAL, it is not China, it is not South America. I know that it's going to be rendered in North America so I can play it. Then I'm going to export. There's no longer an encoder. Those of you who've seen encoder, it automatically happens. You just click export. It takes a minute, especially in our lab, all at the same time because we're sharing the resources. It should be exporting. Let's just talk about rendering. You are going to render a 20-minute video because this is going to lead to projects that you want to create. 20 minutes of a video could take 5 hours of rendering. It also matters how much resources you have on your computer. If you're a digital media anybody going into digital media, you want to have those resources available to you. That means you want to have the highest amount of RAM that you can have on your computer. It allows it to process inside your computer freely because it's taking all of those resources and compressing them down. If you have an old computer, there is a possibility that it would just crash. I've done a 30-minute video and I've gone to bed and it's still rendering when I wake up. My rule of thumb is this. Before I render okay, our 2-minute and 1-minute videos, it doesn't matter. But when I render big, long feature films or long feature video of whatever I've created, I completely shut down my computer and then I bring it back up. I do not open up anything except for Premiere so that it's fresh and there's nothing inside of the RAM or the processing so that when I go to render, it's all clean. In this class, I suggest you doing that. I have a class before you that's using all of these programs, and then when they come back, you're able to have this fresh event, okay? I don't know how much of this I got, so let me see. How do I go find it? I'm going to open up my yellow file folder, and I'm going to go to my thumb drive that's completely full, and go to your in-class assignments under video. Inside that folder, you'll see here my PROJ, which is the original file, and then you'll see, oh, here's my Saleen right here. So here's my AVI, and I'm going to right-click in our class. I'm going to open it with VLC because it allows me to open up Mac, and there's my video. and it starts to play just into Windows. It shows all my effects, and all I have is one file. Okay? But that's how you can go and actually play it. This is the document you'll drop. If you gave me your PROJ, I can't see anything because I would need all of this too. And then I need a bigger place to store all of your things. So this is the AVI that you'll actually drop. But doesn't mean that I don't want a screenshot when you're completely done of your Saleen commercial. Okay? It's AVI and a screenshot, or MOV and a screenshot. And some of you like MP4 and a screenshot. I'm happy all of those work. Okay, I'm going to show you this last thing and then I'm going to let you work. I take you somewhere you don't really want to go, so just hang in there with me, because if you could master this, you could do some really neat thing with still images, all right? So I'm going to take those two, it's in that file folder right here. If you double click, this is what they are separately. It's the Saleen name with the logo. I'm going to move it to the end of my video. I'm going to take logo number 1, drop it on video 1. I'm going to take Saleen and I'm going to put it on top of it. If you were to see this with the scrub bar, they would look like one file, right? But they're really two separate. I'm going to extend this out so I can actually read the names, so I know that I'm on the right one. One is a name and one is a logo. I'm going to start with the logo. Just watch me. Watch me from beginning to end, and then I'll do it with you. What I do is I select the actual logo. I'm actually going to start right from the beginning, and I want to see the name because I want the name to be, I always want to notice where the name is. I'm actually going to add motion. So when I look at this, the best way to describe this is, if I want to add motion, I'm going to make 5 different locations for this logo. And Premiere will fill in the gaps. So if I say, take this logo from the top of the screen and move it to the middle and move it back down, spin it around, and then land in the middle. I just created 5 different positions, right? And other effects that go with it. I created the 5, and Premiere will do this with it and move it all around. Okay? So that's what you're going to do. Each new position is called a keyframe. So you're going to determine those keyframes. For me, to keep it simple, we're just going to do 5. Could I do 10? Yes, I could do 20 if I understand it. Let's just keep it simple, though, as we do it. So I'm going to start with the actual logo. It's dark purple right here. That's the one that I have selected. I need to go into my effect controls, and then here are my options. I'm going to change the motion, and I'm going to change the opacity. And then all of these each have their own keyframe. So I'm going to start with position. Here's my scrub bar here to represent my animation that I'm going to create. It matches this as well. Even though it's here, it really is happening down here as well. Here's how you start the first keyframe. When I click what looks like a time or stopwatch, I click and I get a right triangle that represents keyframe for position. I'm also going to scale it. Click. I'm also going to change the opacity. The first time you set up your keyframe, you're going to hit the stopwatch. There's my first 3 effects. They each are represented by a keyframe. The neat thing in Premiere is I actually can go over here and I got to get the logo by itself, so let me just select it. Now I'm on the logo. I'm actually going to pictorially do it. Okay? Pictorially, I'm going to say, you know what? This is the size I want it to be when it starts. And I want it to start off the page halfway. And I can't do opacity here. I have to go over here to the opacity window and change the see-throughness of it. Okay? So I changed the position, I rescaled it, and I lowered the opacity. There's my first set of keyframes. I'm going to go 2/5 of the way on this video. So I can either move it here, because I can see it here, and do you think that's about 2/5? About right there. Now I'm going to do some new keyframes. Watch. After you've hit the stopwatch the first time, now I'm actually going to click here. Add another keyframe, represented by a diamond. Add another keyframe. I haven't rotated yet, but I'm going to. So here's my new keyframe. The first time I have to hit stopwatch. And I'm going to increase the opacity. This diamond in the middle allows you to add or remove. If you put a keyframe in there that you don't want, you just right click on it and delete it. Okay? This is 2/5 of the way, or 1/5 away from the original one. So now I have them all. There's my keyframes. What do I want to do? Watch this. I pick it up and I drag it down. I increase the size. I flip it over. There's my rotation, right? That's kind of cool too. And I increase my opacity. Only like 10%. And I'm just using that ribbon finger to slide it. See me do that? Okay, so now let me just show you what I've done. Here's my first position. There's my second position. Okay, I'm going to go 3/5 of the way. Okay, now we're at the third position of the 5. How do I get a new keyframe? I hit the diamond. Click, 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 click. I'm going to change position, scale, rotation, and opacity. Here's my new one. You'll be able to see this flip. It'll rotate it. It'll increase in size. And do I have to do it here, everyone? Nope, I can go over here. So I can go over here and reposition. See me do that? I can reposition here or here. I can also scale here. So you can use the ribbon finger, or pictorially, I can just choose it here. Okay? So let's say I want it to come in about right there. Oh, increase the opacity. 3 key positions, and Premiere fills in the gap. See how it moves it, spins it, increases the opacity. Here's my 4th set, everybody. Here's how I turn on my keyframe. Click, 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 click. Okay? And then I just reposition it. What do I want it to do? I can have it come down here off the page. I can have it flip one more time. I can increase the size and have it repositioned down here and increase the opacity. And this is called your path. Everything that I'm doing is being recorded on this path, this set of his instructions to be able to do it. Okay? Here's my very last set of keyframes. Have it happen right here. Here's how I add the keyframe. And here's how it's going to land. I'm going to flip it over, so now you can see it. I'm going to increase the size and increase the opacity to 100%. Okay? So now when I play this video, and it sounds really good when you put it to music, there's the motion. Okay, we're going to do it together. Is everybody ready? So take your scrub bar and move it where you see both the logo and the name. And before we start, will you just select the Saleen name? You need to kind of move it down because it's kind of in the way. Okay, let's grab the logo, everyone. Let's do 3. Can we just do 3 movements? And then I'll let you spin your Saleen, okay? Part of your Saleen is you have to show motion for both the logo and the name, okay? So we'll do 3 on each so that you can feel comfortable doing that. Please select your logo. If you can't tell which one's which, zoom out so you can. Okay, so select it. make sure you're in your effect controls so we can add motion. We're going to add position for the first time, and so you have to click the stopwatch to select it. Once you do that, you should get a right triangle. So if you click position, scaling, and let's just do opacity. Those will be our first. Position, scale, opacity. First keyframe of our motion of our logo. Okay, what do we want it to do? Okay, let's scale it. You can just drop it down a little bit. Grab either the left or the right edge and make it small.
Why is my hair upside down?
Okay, now position it. Should we have it come down from the right? We could do that. And just let it see a little bit of it and make it a little bit see-through. Keyframe number 1. It has 3 effects: scale, opacity, and position. Okay? Take your scrub bar 1/3 of the way. So you can either move it here, and notice it moves it down here, either or. So we're just taking it 1/3 of the way. Now, we need a new keyframe. Now you choose the diamond between the forward, or go to the previous keyframe, or move forward. Click the diamond in the middle. Can you all see my cursor right there? Click. You should get a diamond. Click the scaling. And also click the opacity. Now pick up your logo and move it to the middle. Increase it in size and increase the opacity. There is your new set of keyframe number 2. Okay? One more. We're going to take our scrub bar. It's about right here. I need another keyframe. So I'm going to go up here, click on the keyframe, click the diamond to get a new one. So you go here, add, remove keyframe. I also want one for position, scaling, and opacity. Okay, increase the size, bring it down to the bottom corner, and increase the opacity. Yes? Okay, now play that, everyone. Take your scrub bar to the beginning, and notice that Premiere will fill in the gaps of your 3 choices. See how it moves? And it's pretty glitchy, but when you render, it'll just smooth it right out. Okay? Okay, now let's go back. With the Saleen logo moving, let's make Saleen turn, the actual words. Deselect your logo, now select Saleen. And I moved my scrub bar to the beginning where it starts, so that here's where my logo is, here's where Saleen starts. I made mine a little bit smaller right from the get-go. I just double-clicked right here. So whatever size you want it to start at, make it that size. I just double-clicked. So we're going to do that same thing under Effect Controls. Click on Motion and Opacity, the down triangle. It's a new object. And because Saleen and the logo are on top of each other, it will move the logo along the timeline so we can make them interchange with each other. So first we're going to set our keyframe. When the logo's here, where should we put Saleen? Okay? We're going to add a position the first time hit the alarm clock or time stop. Click scaling and click opacity. You should have 3 keyframes. There they are. Okay? What should we make Saleen do? Come off the page? Maybe let's do that. lower the opacity first so you can see that you're down 50%. Increase the size so it could come in a little bit big. Okay, so there's the scaling and positioning. It's off the page. Keyframe number 1. Okay, now I'm going to pick up my scrub bar and I'm looking at the logo. When the logo gets to the center, what do I want to happen with Saleen? Okay, so now you're going to add a keyframe. Click, click, click. I'm actually going to make it rotate, everyone. So I'm going to add a keyframe for rotation. Okay, so now I'm going to say, now when this gets here by that logo, flip it upside down. Okay, increase the opacities, and I can increase the size just a little bit, which is scaling. So watch that dimension as it happens. I come in, it rotates, it's flipped upside down. There's position number 2. Okay? Okay, now I'm going to take my scrub bar, and what do I want to happen when the logo gets to the bottom left-hand corner? So when my logo gets here, I'm going to make my Saleen text do something different. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to add position, scaling keyframe, rotation, and opacity. I'm going to flip it over because I'm now marking those keyframes. I'm repositioning the size. I'm increasing the opacity. So it's a little bit darker. So now I've set a new keyframe. Okay? Now watch the motion of them. Watch them interchange with each other. Okay? The only way to learn it is just to go in there and practice making things move.